It was 1978, a warm winter day. Choi Yoon-hee, a well-known South Korean actress, was walking along a quiet beach in Hong Kong. A woman she knew motioned for her to come closer. This was a trap. Suddenly, several strong men grabbed Choi Yoon-hee. They quickly forced her into a waiting speedboat. Her long and forced journey took her across the sea, all the way to North Korea. This kidnapping was a shocking event. Choi Yoon-hee was taken to North Korea for a specific and cruel purpose: to make movies for its leader, Kim Jong-il. This book explores the world of film and cinema in this often mysterious country. But truly, it is a story about a great storyteller and mastermind, Kim Jong-il, North Korea's second leader. Kim Jong-il had a deep and unusual love for movies. He collected thousands of foreign films, watching them constantly. For him, cinema was not just entertainment, it was a very powerful tool. He had a clear plan to use movies. His main goal was to turn cinema into strong propaganda. These films would control the thoughts and beliefs of millions of North Koreans. They would show only his ideas and present his government as perfect and always right. Through these movies, Kim Jong-il aimed to keep his family as the unquestioned and powerful leaders of North Korea. Films became his most important weapon. He used them to shape what his people knew, believed, and felt about their country and its leader. This way, he made sure that movies helped him stay in complete control, guiding the hearts and minds of an entire nation through the power of the screen. 2. A boy who loved movies. In North Korea, people heard a special story about Kim Jong-il's birth. They were told he was born on a snowy Mount Pektu in a small log cabin surrounded by deep forests. The legend said that when he was born, the sky changed. Thunder stopped, dark clouds moved away, and a bright double rainbow appeared, stretching across the sky. A new shining star also made its debut overhead. This was the story of the shining star of Pektu Mountain. But the real story was very different. Kim Jong-il was born in the year 1941. This happened at a Soviet army base in Russia. There were no rainbows or new stars created that day. It was likely just a normal day. His first name was not Kim Jong-il. It was Yuri Ilsenovich Kim, a Russian name. As an adult, he changed his past many times, rewriting his history over 20 years. This showed that he was already a great storyteller. From a very young age, Kim Jong-il had a strong love for movies. When he was 7 years old, he watched a North Korean film called My Home Village with his parents. After the movie, he marched up to one of the filmmakers. He sharply criticized a winter scene, saying the falling snow did not look real. He told them it looked like fake cotton balls on the actor's head, not natural snow. The filmmakers were ashamed and quickly reshot the scene without the fake snow. As he grew up, his obsession with movies became immense. He built a very large personal collection that held 20,000 foreign films on VHS and DVDs. These movies were stored in a special air-conditioned library. 250 full-time employees worked there just to take care of his collection. He watched all kinds of movies, from Hollywood westerns and thrillers like Friday the 13th and Rambo to Japanese monster movies like Godzilla. His favorite American actor was Elizabeth Taylor, and he apparently loved Daffy Duck and the James Bond series. However, he was insulted when a Bond film showed North Korean leaders as the enemies. He was a full-blown cinephile. His father, Kim Il-sung, who founded North Korea, saw his son's deep love for films. Kim Il-sung was actually quite concerned that Kim Jong-il's obsession had become unhealthy. But soon, this dictator father would find a clever way to use his son's passion for movies to help him stay in power. 3. The film Boss. In the 1960s, North Korea was still a young country. There was a struggle for power among leaders. Kim Il-sung was the country's main leader, but some other powerful people in the party wanted him to step aside. They wished to choose a new leader and move North Korea in a different direction. To get the people to support their ideas, this rival group started using movies. They created a film that praised the life of their chosen successor, trying to build a new image around him, not Kim Il-sung. This was a big mistake. Kim Il-sung would not let this happen. He went directly to the main film studio in Pyongyang, the capital city. There, he gave an angry speech to all the people working in the film department. He warned them that someone in the party was trying to make themselves famous and use movies to do it. Kim Il-sung told his filmmakers that they must work harder. Their movies needed to be stronger tools for the government, making sure he and his family stayed in power. He then asked if anyone had the courage to lead the film studio and guide it correctly, meaning to make better propaganda films. In the room, a young Kim Jong-il was quietly watching. He was the leader's son and loved films very much. He stepped forward and bravely said he would volunteer. He offered to become the head of the film studio. His goal was to make North Korean movies better and help secure his father's position. For Kim Il-sung, this moment was very important. His son had always seemed more interested in movies than in politics, but now he was showing a strong passion for a key political role. It was clear to Kim Il-sung that this was the perfect job for his son. Right there, he promoted Kim Jong-il. He put him in charge of the propaganda and agitation department. This department controlled all movies, plays, and books in North Korea. From that day, Kim Jong-il had the power to decide what stories the people would see and read. He began to use films as his most important tool. He worked to tell a glorious story of North Korea and ensure people believed in the Kim family's rule. The battle for North Korea's future was now happening on the big screen, and Kim Jong-il held the control. 4. The rules for movies. Kim Jong-il had very strong ideas about how movies should be made in North Korea. He put all his thoughts into a book called On the Art of Cinema. This book was very important. It became the main guide for every filmmaker in the country, telling them exactly what kind of stories to create and how to show them on screen. The most important rule from Kim Jong-il's book was clear. All films must serve the government and its goals. Filmmakers were seen as part of the government, tasked with leading an ideological revolution through their stories. Their job was to use their artistic skills to help build socialism and communism. In short, every movie had to be clever propaganda, teaching the North Korean people what the government wanted them to believe. A core idea in North Korea, and a big part of Kim Jong-il's filmmaking rules, is called juche. Juche means self-reliance. This idea tells people that they should depend only on themselves and their country, not on others. It glorifies being independent and separated from outside influences. Kim Jong-il made it very clear that successful North Korean films should show characters who live, work, and struggle with the belief that they are in charge of their revolution. These characters must accept full responsibility for solving their own problems without any help from outside sources. An example of this self-reliance can be seen in the film Myself in the Distant Future. In one scene, farmers are working hard in a field. Suddenly, their tractor breaks down. For people in other countries, this might stop their work, but not for these dedicated North Korean farmers. Instead of waiting for new parts or outside help, they immediately find a solution. With big smiles, the farmers simply take out their hand tools, called sickles, and start harvesting the field by hand. They do not need modern technology or help from the city. They show that they are strong and self-reliant. Just before this, the farmers had even started to sing poems about how much they loved North Korea. During these songs, the film showed beautiful scenes of Mount Pictou, reminding everyone of its importance to the country. This film and many others like it taught North Koreans that working hard and depending only on themselves and their nation was the best and most noble way to live. 5. Stories of struggle. The idea of struggle was very important in North Korean films. Kim Jong-il's father, Kim Il-sung, taught that life starts and ends with struggle. This teaching became a main message in movies. Films showed that a hard life was not a bad thing. Instead, it was a good and noble way to live. It was how people could find happiness. One film that showed this was called The Broad Bellflower, made in 1989. It was a love story. A woman's loved one had to leave their town. The woman then thought about leaving for an easier life, but her father gave her wise advice. He told her it was better to stay and work hard in her hometown. He said she would find happiness by facing challenges and struggling there. Later, the woman realized her father was right. She understood that working hard and dealing with problems was the only way to truly achieve happiness. These films helped people accept their difficult lives and understand them in a new way. Many North Koreans lived with little and faced hunger. This was because their powerful leader kept the country closed off from the rest of the world. But the movies told them that their suffering was special and good. They said it was part of a big and ongoing revolution. This helped citizens feel proud of their country and its path. They saw their leader as a protector of this eternal struggle, not as the reason for their problems. These films were shown to everyone in every part of the country, in factories, on farms, and to army groups, making sure the message reached all citizens. Kim Jong-il told filmmakers to choose stories that would stick in people's minds. He wanted stories that would change people's suffering into strong national pride for North Korea. For example, one movie showed a football player training extremely hard. Other people thought he trained too much, even saying, "You're crazy." But he firmly replied that he had to do this to bring glory and honor to his country. Other films also rewrote history to fit the government's message. They made North Korea look very strong and brave. For instance, movies about the time Japan controlled Korea were often shown. This historical period was truly harsh and difficult for Koreans. but the films showed Koreans easily winning battles, often with flying martial arts moves and exaggerated fighting scenes. They showed brave Koreans fighting against rich landowners and those who supported capitalism. These stories about working hard and winning against problems made people feel very strong about their nation. They made them believe their country was always right and always fighting against bad things from outside. 6. Songs and sacrifice. North Korean films often used music to spread their messages effectively. Characters in these movies would frequently begin to sing suddenly. These songs were consistently about their nation and its respected leader. Kim Jong-il believed these musical moments were very powerful tools for influencing people. He established specific rules for them. Songs needed to be short, simple, and easy for everyone to understand and remember. He also insisted they be catchy so that people would sing them often, helping the government's ideas stay in their minds and building pride in North Korea. Women were given a particularly significant role in these propaganda films. Female characters were presented as showing their deep love for the country through unwavering obedience and significant personal sacrifices. Their identity in these narratives was strongly connected to their families and, most importantly, to the state itself. This concept of women being dedicated and accepting their roles was a recurring theme in many communist-era artworks. The films provided clear examples of such devotion. For instance, in Girls from My Hometown, a young woman living in the countryside demonstrates her loyalty by choosing to care for her husband, who was blinded while serving in a war. This act was portrayed as a noble sacrifice for the entire nation. In another film, The Name Given by the Era, a central female character decided against attending college. Instead, she willingly took on the extremely challenging task of leading a construction project to build a dam. This story emphasized that hard work and personal struggle for the country's benefit were the most important goals. Sometimes, the sacrifices depicted for women were even more profound. One movie showed a woman risking her own life during a dangerous storm and mudslide. Her reason was to save a group of sheep that the government had provided to her community, highlighting devotion to state resources. Furthermore, in Song of Retrospection, the main female character used grenades to cause an explosion, sacrificing herself to destroy approaching enemy soldiers and protect the rest of her military unit. These cinematic narratives aim to teach audiences that giving absolutely everything, including one's life, for the state was the highest form of virtue. 7. The kidnapped filmmakers. Kim Jong-il was very unhappy with the movies made in North Korea. He believed they were not good enough and lacked quality. He wanted to improve North Korean cinema greatly. His solution was to bring talented filmmakers from outside the country, especially from South Korea, to work for him. Choi Yoon-hee, a famous South Korean actress, had already been brought to North Korea. Kim Jong-il also wanted her ex-husband, Shin Sang-ok, who was a highly regarded director. Shin traveled to Hong Kong to search for Choi, not knowing he was being watched. One day, as he drove, a car suddenly stopped in front of him, blocking the road. Several men got out of the car, came to Shin's vehicle, and put a nylon bag over his head. They tied a rope around his ankles and forced him into their car. Shin, like Choi, was then taken to North Korea against his will. Upon his arrival in Pyongyang, Kim Jong-il met Shin and explained his intentions. He ordered Shin and Choi to make propaganda films for him. Shin bravely refused to cooperate. For his refusal, Kim Jong-il punished him by sending him to a labor camp. Shin Sang-ok endured 5 long years in the camp. In 1983, Kim Jong-il decided that Shin and Choi had learned their lesson. He brought them together and hosted a grand party. He told them that they were still his prisoners, but now had the freedom to make any films they desired. Kim Jong-il even offered an apology, claiming he was too busy to notice their poor treatment in the camp. With no other choice, Shin and Choi began to work. Over the next few years of their captivity, they directed 6 films for their captor. One of the most notable films Shin directed was a monster movie called Pulgasari. Kim Jong-il had a strong interest in monster films, especially Japanese ones like Godzilla. He wanted North Korea to have its own big monster movie. To achieve this, he broke his own rule about keeping outsiders away. He brought a special effects team from Japan, including the actor who played Godzilla. Kim Jong-il tricked the Japanese crew, telling them they were going to China for a film shoot, but instead took them to North Korea. Pulgasari told the story of a small, metal-eating monster. Farmers initially liked Pulgasari because it helped them defeat a cruel king. However, the monster grew constantly, demanding more and more metal to eat. The farmers had to give up all their tools and resources to feed it. Eventually, they had nothing left for themselves. To stop the monster, the blacksmith's daughter made a great sacrifice. She formed a special bond with Pulgasari and then hid inside a large bell, knowing the monster would eat the metal bell and in doing so, eat her. Her death would also cause Pulgasari to die. Some believed that director Shin Sang-ok included a hidden message in Pulgasari. They thought the monster represented Kim Il-sung, the country's leader. He started as a liberator but became power-hungry, taking everything from his people and causing suffering. Shin later confirmed that the film carried an anti-war and anti-authoritarian theme. Kim Jong-il, however, saw Pulgasari as a huge success. He was very proud of it. Feeling pleased, he allowed Shin and Choi to travel to Vienna, Austria. Their official reason for the trip was to attend a film festival and find financial partners for a new North Korean movie about Genghis Khan. But upon arriving in Vienna, Shin and Choi bravely sought refuge at the United States Embassy. They were granted asylum and finally found freedom in the United States. When Kim Jong-il learned of their escape, he was furious. In his rage, he ordered Shin's name to be removed from the credits of all the films he had directed. He publicly labeled Shin a traitor. In North Korea, it became a serious offense to even mention Shin Sang-ok's name. 8. The film legacy. In 1994, Kim Jong-il became North Korea's supreme leader after his father died. His strong love for movies continued to shape the country's propaganda. He believed films were a powerful tool to teach people and control their thoughts, which helped him keep his family in power. He also started the Pyongyang International Film Festival. This event allowed North Korea to show its own movies and sometimes other foreign films. However, only countries that North Korea considered friendly were invited, such as Iran, Egypt, India, Vietnam, and China. This festival was quite unique because it was one of the few ways North Korea tried to connect with the outside world. It continued for many years, even running up until the recent pandemic. Kim Jong-il died in 2011, yet his strong influence on North Korean cinema did not end. Even modern films made today still follow his rules and themes. For example, a film from 2016 showed the same old ingredients: women making great sacrifices for the country. It also featured strong national pride, much praise for the current leader, Kim Jong-un, and many spontaneous song breaks where characters suddenly sing about their nation or leader. Kim Jong-il's powerful way of storytelling remains a key part of filmmaking in North Korea. His legacy lives on in nearly every new movie produced there. Which North Korean film trope do you find the most fascinating and why?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.